we are making fly media. So the first thing you want to do is fill your kettle with water. And this is where you get your water for the media from. And once you pour your last bucket of water, you're going to want to close the lid, and then come to the right over here to turn on the power for the blade and the kettle. Okay, so first you're going to want to put your control power to on. Then you're going to want to switch your steam to manual. Then you're going to want to turn your blade on with the start switch. Once you've turned the blade on, you want to make sure to have the blade high enough to where it will mix your ingredients properly. And over here is where our ingredients are. We have the cornmeal, our yeast, which is right next to it in the same cart, our dextrose, and our auger. This is the scale that we use. You press it down to turn it on and zero it out. And this is the metal bucket we use to put our dry ingredients in. Mix dry ingredients together before you put it into the kettle. If you are cooking molasses media, you're going to want to use our homemade molasses, which is in a bucket inside of our room next to the scale. You're going to want to use one of the larger buckets to fill your measurement of molasses media. Once you reach 90, turn the steam to off, and please make sure your blade is high enough to mix your ingredients. Once you're ready to add your dry ingredients to the water, please pour in towards the center of the kettle and the blade, and only pour in a small portion at a time to prevent clumping. After pouring in your dry ingredients, if you do come up with clumps, you can take the spatula and run it backwards to the media. Just be careful not to hit the blade with your hand or the spatula. Then add your molasses. Once you have all your ingredients in, you come back over here to the console and turn the steam back to manual until you get to 102. You also want to make sure to close the lid. Alright, you're going to want to boil the food till it gets to 102. Once it reaches 102, you're going to want to turn the steam off. Please be very cautious, because if it hits 103, it will boil over and make a really big mess. Turn it off. Once it reaches 102, you're going to want to keep it at a boil between 100 and 102 for 10 minutes. When making Tagaset, you will need methylparaben, which sits on top of the flammable cabinet, ethanol alcohol, which sits inside the flammable cabinet, and some distilled water. You want to mix it all together in a beaker with a spinner and make sure it breaks up nice and good. Turn this on, make sure it's plugged in.
Sorry.
Pouring a little bit at a time so it doesn't end up cloudy. And once it clears up, pour in your water When you're ready to start your media, once the time is passed, you want to turn your water onto manually until it drops to 70. Once your temperature hits 70, you can turn the water off and then add your hydroxybenzoate and propionic acid. Turn the water to off. And the drain to close. Once it has reached 70, you can now open the lid, add your Tagaset. And if you are cooking molasses food like we are today, add your propionic acid as well. Let it mix for about 5 minutes, and then your media is ready to be pumped.